Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Wednesday, April the 19th. The year's 2023. Let's talk trading. Check your ego with Walmal. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and differ from Walmal. Walmal, so you're taking some time off for vacation to visit with the traders.
Yes, I am. It's been down in the Big Easy, as they call it, down in New Orleans, which is not my favorite place to go, but my daughter-in-law, who's a immigrant to this country, always wanted to go there because she's seen it in the movies, and so she always wanted to go. So here we are. But it's just we need to go and take that time to rest and relax. But I've been trading a little bit in the mornings before everybody gets up, and it's been fun. And I hear what have you been talking about yesterday?
Yesterday was check your ego.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I sent you a text message this morning saying, "Hey, it's been an easy day, easy peasy." And then I blew it up. And it's sort of like, question is, did I blow it up because of ego, market going against me, and I'm not quite sure how you took that. You could take that idea and run it so many different ways, but, you could very easily go and have a problem with your ego in the sense that, you just think it's easy and you can't fail, and, I would just wonder if I messed up myself for the day just because of, I really had that attitude. Everything I took was golden. And sometimes the market smiles on you, and then it happens. But reality is, sort of like you throw a ball in the air. It's got to come out. It's got to come down, and you got to go and just make sure that you're managing everything. And luckily, I was managing everything in terms of money management. But just take the wind out of your sails a little bit. To realizing that, hey, you had a false high, now you're going to get hit with a low. That's just the way trading is sometimes.
Yeah, and the main thing is, it's like I said, for some traders, they're trying to learn, they're trying to be profitable, but they just won't leave things at the door. They're not, they want to drag stuff along as opposed to starting with a blank page or a clean slate.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes you just get, that's one of the things that I've had to go and learn is that, what you got to do sometimes is just, just recognize where you're at, and, and just sometimes you take a loss just because, it's just better to go and take a loss and look at it, and look for the next opportunity, and just, and just go and wait for it, and at the same time, there are times when you just have to go and just say, hey, that's it, that's okay. And check your ego at the door. Don't get so mad because you took a loss. We all take losses, and move on from that point. And if you don't do that, well, what can very easily happen is that, you start, you start taking big losses because you weren't willing to go and do that.
Yeah, and like if you're looking at the pound right here, I've got a 5-minute chart up. You can see it's pretty much moving up from left to right at almost a 45-degree angle. And I've been sitting here thinking short ever since it was down at the 2400 level.
Well, that'll mess you up a little bit, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, and that's right here. I'm showing where I had gone short right about this. I think I went short at 2401, and the sucker just reversed on me. It was it's showing a red bar here because I got a bar chart up, even though the close was higher, but that red meant lower high, lower low on it was using the state bars. And that sucker just reversed on me so quick. I just punched out, took the 5-pip loss, and said, you know what, I'll just have to get it back. Because it was literally, one of those inflection points.
Right. And the thing is, though, we're talking about ego here. The problem is when you have an inflated ego on something, because things are going so well, the problem is, you can pop that balloon. And the downside of that, thing that can really get you into trouble is that, it can go and now put you onto the other side of the line where you're being unrealistic in the other side where, well, I can't do this. This never works. This is just, it's fraud. It's this, it's that. And you can easily go into that mind spin. And then once you do that, then you're really in trouble. And, because I think that all of us, as we learn to do things, or at least in trading, I think about every successful trader I've ever talked to is, said that they've gone through that in their lives at one point in time or another, where they really just, they get a beating that way because that happens. And, you got to go and, I talk all the time about money management, putting things in place to protect the money. Well, you also got to put things, I think, in place to go and check your ego, check your emotion, check your countenance. And, sometimes you just got to go and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I had a really good day. You know what? It's time to walk away. Maybe I should have done that this morning. I don't know. But, and then on the other end of it, it's sort of like check your, not ego or whatever the opposite of ego is, check that as well, where you just go and say, you know what? Sometimes, things just don't go right and move on and just say, okay, I'm going to take a break a little bit and just so I can have a better attitude.
Yeah.
And,
So I set the M5 chart up, and for those watching, I mean, price had broken through the previous M5 high, and he was up about a couple of pips. And if you're thinking, hey, you know what, it's going to keep going, well, guess what? No, it doesn't. You could have given back those 2 pips. And it's just, it's so difficult sometimes to be happy with the moment. And the thing is, it's one of those where you gotta just check the emotions too, because it's like, is your plan to take a pip or 2? If that's your plan, execute. If your plan's to ride it for 5, well, then ride it for 5.
Right. And I know this is going to come across very, I don't want to say, it's going to come across probably very chic, the idea of, just go and get out. If it goes and makes it, it makes it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's so easy to say. It's like trading. Trading is very easy. the emotion and everything else, that's what's hard about it. But the trading itself, all it is clicking a button.
Yeah.
That's all it is. but we can so easily put ourselves into a funk that can really spin us out of, control a little bit. And next thing you know, we can take something that's very good and turn it into something that's pretty bad.
Right. And so it's like when I was, when I showed you that trade down here, had I not just taken that loss and I kept trying to fight it, well, you can see I could be down 40 pips right now. If I tried to fight it, it's just like, no, it's making higher highs. You can just see it right here. I mean, there's only one red candle. There's no 2 or more in a row on this move to the upside. So it's like, it's right there on the chart. What's it telling you? It's telling you prices going up. I mean, you look at how many higher highs, how many higher lows. It's right there in the multimeters. I mean, why try and fight it? It's just crazy.
Why are you going and jumping in front of the truck?
Yeah, in front of the freight train.
Yeah. So if you remember the old, TV Superman series where Superman would jump in front of the freight train on the opening scene and he'd stick his hand out and stop the train.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? None of us are Superman.
No, we're more like Wile E. Coyote stands in front of the freight train and gets run over.
Exactly. Wouldn't it be so much easier just to get on the freight train and ride the freight train?
Yes, it would be.
But that's easy to say again, but the reality is that, it's hard. It's easy to say, but it's very, very hard, and you just have to go and recognize that. And
well, it's easy to say, and once again, if you look here down at the rat zone, you can see it put in a low at 23.91, and then it came out. I've got the 15-minute chart, and you can see this candle came, it opened, it went down, did not make a new low, came up through the open of the previous candle, and it hasn't looked back since
Right.
then. And so you can spot these, and it's just like, oh, I see that. You can say
Right.
hindsight, but the thing is, when you're trading it, it's like, okay, if you just wait, it doesn't matter. You know, even if you wanted to drop all the way down to M1, you can see how it's making these moves. And there was
Right.
plenty of rat reversals or turn trades. You know, sometimes it went up, didn't quite come out, dropped back down. You could have definitely traded, you know, in this zone. And even if you waited for it to get to the edge of the zone, I mean, there was an opportunity there to go long at 24.12 and just stick in that trade.
Yeah. And, you know, and the thing is, a lot of times what happens is, at least for me, my biggest problem in trading is just simply this. I know this thing's going to go down, you know, and I just, you know, I try to make my, I try to go and, you know, believe my own press releases. I used to go and say,
Yeah.
and what happens is I try to force the market to go do what it wants to do what I want it to do as opposed to what the market wants to do. And, you know, we have to go and we have to give up our ego, give up, you know, we're not always right, you know. In fact, we're probably wrong more times than we're right. You know?
Yeah.
We just be willing to admit that.
Yeah, I mean, and if you look at it, it went, you know, from the lower rat zone to the upper rat zone, from green rat to red rat, back to green rat, you know, out, back to green rat. Now it just went and just touched the edge of the red rat zone again, the smart rat at 124.52, and then it's dropping back down. So, I mean, you know, the opportunities are there. You just have to recognize them, stick with your plan, and follow them.
Right.
And you know, the funny thing is, though, if you look at this thing, if you want to, you know, draw these trend lines, you can see, once again, that's almost a perfect 45-degree angle, you know, going to the upside there. So you just have to ride it, and then sooner or later it'll consolidate, and then it'll probably come back down.
Just a question of time.
Yes, it is.
It's just, can you go and wait that long?
Well, the other thing is, I mean, you could also just say, you know what? You can look at the Walmal lines or sweet spots and say, okay, it gets to the 50. At the 50, it's either going to the double O, or you can say it's going from either the 50 to the 75 or 50 to 25, and just say, okay, well, whichever way it crosses, you know, that's the way it's headed. But as we can see now, it's crossed below 50. It's at 47, and it's, you know, it dropped. And there's 3 pips if you wanted them.
It looks so easy now, you know. Retrospect, we always talk about that, you know, Harry hindsight, you know, and just it looks so easy, but you know, it's the heat of the moment and everything.
Yeah, you just have to, you know, trade what you see, you know, in the moment. And you can't do the resulting, because I had a trade and everything was right and it reversed on me. I can't, there's nothing else to say about it. You know, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So, fellow traders, you got Walmal's take on ego. So let us know in the comments your ideas, or how you check your ego at the door when you're trading, because it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.